Welcome to another edition of the Hawk Off the Press podcast. I'm your host, Gazette Hawkeyes reporter Dawn Staley. I am excited to be joined by Necole Tunsil, a member of the 1993 Iowa women's basketball team. What was the only Iowa Final Four team, now one of two Final Four teams. Necole, thanks for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So what stands out now 30 years later from that 1993 experience?
Well, what stands out is the hard work and the dedication that this team has put into this season. I'm sure they prepared prior to the season the same way we did, and look at it coming and working out for them, right?
Yeah. Does this bring back memories?
It does. Because the season in 1993 was a very it started out a very gloomy season because Coach Stringer's husband had passed. We had some of my teammates, their fathers had passed away, and so we were playing with heavy hearts, right? So we were trying to make Coach Stringer proud and play for the parents that had passed away. And so we just wanted to bond together and play for each other. And those are all the things that I hear, Caitlin and Monica and Gabby and all those guys. That's exactly what I hear them saying, right? They play for each other. They're all they have. And what a sisterhood. What a sisterhood. And I'm extremely proud of them. I'm extremely proud to be a Hawkeye. I'm just like overwhelmed with joy. I'm excited for Coach Bluter and Coach Jensen and the job that they've and their staff and what they've done, just to bring that promise and that pride back to Iowa City. And I think it's well deserved.
At what point did you realize with that 93 season that, hey, this could be a special year?
Well, we actually said it before it happened. You just know when you have all the pieces, you sit down and you have a legitimate point guard, you have legitimate guards, your centers on point, the forwards, and then you have a bench. We had one of the best recruiting classes. My freshman class was probably the best recruiting class ever, right? We had all of these All-Americans. So we were destined for greatness, and we knew it. And we had 2 years under our belts. And Coach Stringer had groomed us, Coach Freeman, Coach Lee, and Coach Myers. They had groomed us for the moment, and we were grateful because Mr. Stringer had he was our strength and conditioning coach prior to the season, so we had an opportunity to. He really stuck it to us that particular year. And he was like, you guys are going to the Final Four. You're probably going to win this national championship. And so we just worked so hard for throughout the preseason conditioning. And then when it was time for the season, we were ready. And we were clicking on all cylinders. And that's really what I see with this team this year.
And if I'm remembering correctly, was that the year where the Guns N' Roses concert was at Carver Hawkeye?
And we had to move. Oh, man, what a challenge. But listen, you have to overcome adversity, right, in order for it to all be worthwhile. And we did that.
And now, looking 30 years from that, what advice would you have as somebody who is part of that 93 team for somebody on this 2023 team?
Well, what I want this 2023 team to do is bring home the hardware. Win, because that was something that we weren't able to do. And I just think, when you look at other programs, they take advantage of the opportunity and they somehow, some way win a championship. And I just think that the people, the fans, the administrators in Iowa, everybody deserves it. I think all the former players, we deserve to buy a T-shirt, that we're national champions. And that's really, really what I want. So unfortunately, I won't be able to come out there to Dallas to be a part of it, but I'm going to throw a big old party right here in St. Petersburg, Florida, baby. You better believe it. And we're going to party and we're going to will them to a victory. It's going to be challenging, though. It's going to be tough. I played professional ball in France with Dawn Staley, and she's one of my girls, right? But I'm not choosing Dawn over the Hawkeyes. No way, no how. So on Friday night, I'll be wearing black and gold, and I'll be cheering on those Hawkeyes against the South Carolina Gamecocks.
When you first met Dawn, did you realize that she'd be a national championship caliber coach?
You know what? Dawn is special. She's a special lady. She's a special person. She actually taught me how to drive a stick shift in France, because when I went to France, I knew how to drive an automatic. But she, when I got to France, they gave me a vehicle. When you're a professional, they give you a vehicle, and it was a stick shift, and I had no idea that the car had sat in my driveway for about 2 months before, Dawn and I caught up with each other, and she actually taught me how to just put the thing in first and let it ride. Oh,
was she a good teacher?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and she was patient, and I know that her players are going to be well prepared for this game, but. Lisa, Coach Bluter and those guys, they do a great job as well, and they need to be commended for that. So I'm just, I don't think it's going to come down to the X's and O's. I think it's going to be Boston against the rest of us. I know she has a supporting cast, but this year when you really break down everything. Iowa has all the pieces. We have shooters, we have penetrators, we have an inside game with Monica. Monica's tough. She's tough. She doesn't get enough credit, but she's tough. And and then you got Caitlin's going to do her thing. So I don't think we're going to be just kind of soft and intimidated, not by South Carolina. I think we're going to step up for the challenge, and it's going to be a close game. And I'm not going to make a prediction this time. I've made predictions in the past, but I won't make a prediction this time. I just want us to bring home the hardware, baby.
Any trash talk with Dawn?
No, I haven't. But listen, she better back up and move out the way. The Hawkeyes are on her trail, but they took care of Maryland so easy, and that makes me nervous. It makes me nervous, but it's still not Caitlin Clark and the Lady Hawkeyes. So they better be ready. I think we're going to give everything we have. We're going to leave it on the court, and the best team will win.
And I heard that you send videos of Iowa's offense to your team now that you're coaching.
Absolutely. So, when the Hawkeyes are playing, and I think in Tampa Bay, we have one of the biggest alumni associations. And so we have game watches for football, field hockey, baseball, basketball. I mean, we have it here, and we're at Ferg's sports bar in St. Petersburg. And so I go and I watch the game. Sometimes I invite my kids, and you gotta, I'm a high school coach, so you got to get the kids involved. And so they really, really like Caitlin Clark, and they like Haley Van Lith as well. So that was tough to, some of the girls were in our group chats and they were talking trash. The ones that, like Van Lith and the ones that like Clark. But, Clark had 21 at half, 23 at half. It was a wrap, And so they thought they had us jumping out to an 8-0, first quarter. But no, not the Hawkeyes. We're ready.
What is a coach now? What stands out to you so much about this offense?
So they spread the floor really well, and they have all the pieces, like I said, that they can be successful. So when they need a three, it's just not, it's not only Caitlin Clark that can shoot the three. Other people shoot it well. And so, and then when people come out and they press up against our guards, we can, pass that ball down low to Monica, and Monica goes to work. So I actually have my post players watching Monica and her footwork, and how she, keeps her elbows up and strong, and she's effective in that middle. So we just kind of dissect the game. I try to increase their basketball IQ as much as I can. And it's great, that I get to do it using film from the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Well, if I hear some faint yelling at like a really high point in the game coming from the East, I know who it's coming from.
Listen, you're going to see all kind of fireworks coming from Florida, baby. I think, like I said, I'm just so excited. I don't want them to get lost in the moment, because the hype of the Final Four, have press conferences and dinners and banquets and things of that nature. You have all that stuff going on. I just hope they enjoy the moment, embrace the moment, but take advantage of the opportunity, because it's not every year that Iowa is at the Final Four. So I just hope they take advantage of the opportunity and bring home some hardware. That's important. I mean, yeah, it's great. We made it. They made it. So now we're equal, but I want them to take it a step further. I'm rooting for them.
Did you think in 1993 that'd be another 30 years before a team would be at this stage?
Listen, I have followed Iowa women's basketball since I left, and I just always wanted us to get there. I'm never that person like, oh, I don't want them to be better than we were. Yes, I do, because when they win, we win, and I get to talk so much trash to everybody in the coaching world when we win.
Well, Necole, thanks for joining me.
And thank you for having me. And listen, the Iowa Hawkeyes are going to bring it home. I'm telling you, it's our time. We've waited for this moment for a long period of time. 1993, we did what we did, but I need them to take it a step further this year. Right in Dallas. Shock the world. Start with South Carolina and then on to probably LSU, but that's no problem. Chop meat.
You heard it here first, folks. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Hawk Off the Press podcast. Until next week, we will talk Hawks later.
Go Hawks!